Hi everyone, it's me, Oxy. Today I'm busy doing something new for me. Welcome to me building the LEGO Botanical Collection's bonsai tree. I have spent a long time making this video over several days of recording, editing, doing voiceover, and other related processes. When I came up with this idea, I knew I needed a new direction and project to take on to show myself what I'm capable of. And this is the first time that I'm following a new workflow for producing content in general. And for lack of a better way to put it, I think this is gonna be the process that I'm following on this channel forward, as I have found a newfound passion and spark for content creation with the style I've been following with this. So without further ado, welcome to Oxy Does Stuff. On this new channel and with a fresh mind, I welcome you deeper into my more personal life and thought process as a person outside of social media or that you've seen in my content. This channel and project is very experimental within a new genre entirely, after doing the exact same thing for nearly 9 years now. Join me as I look into new hobbies, explore my other interests outside of gaming, geek culture, and YouTube. As a self-proclaimed anime fan and enjoyer of all things Japanese culture, the significance of bonsai trees and cherry blossoms is really impactful to me. Cherry blossoms often signify the coming of spring and thus new life in Japan. And so they have an almost ethereal and otherworldly energy to them. That is, the symbolism they bear of both life and death, representing both beauty and decay. It also stands as a physical reminder that teaches us how we should appreciate what we have as is. Much like the awe-inspiring sakuras, everything must come to an end. Our existence is, relatively speaking, fleeting in the grander scheme of things, and thus shouldn't be taken for granted. I'd like to iterate further on that previous analogy. Their short lifespan is a reminder that life is fleeting, but we shouldn't live in fear of its end, but instead make the most of it while we have it. End quote. This especially resonates with myself, who has, for the longest time, been undergoing an arduous and oftentimes seemingly unwinnable battle with my mental health. Said journey has been one of relearning how to value and appreciate myself, my abilities, and my existence on this planet we call home. To me at least, a bonsai is very representative of the values and ideals I had to learn, integrate into my life, and use to help me regrow trust in myself, improve my outlook on life, and eventually come to terms with the fact that, as much as I'd like to be able to change my past and do things differently to avoid or even be better equipped for the hardships I've encountered during my life, I cannot, nor would it have made a difference. What matters to me now is using the past as learning experiences and lessons to help define who I want to be, that ideal version of myself that I am capable of being in this moment, flaws and all, rather than being hyperfixated on the person I wasn't and breaking down my present self for my past missteps or errors in judgment, or even my frankly stupid past decisions. And that is in more than just my content approach, but also inclusive of my whole adolescent to young adult life and the rest of it going forward. Quote, bonsai trees are symbols of beauty and strength, conveying qualities such as harmony, serenity, patience, and elegance. They represent the idea of a perfect balance between nature and art, representing how people can attain peace within themselves. End quote. This ideology is what I strive to embody on a daily basis, to let everything that happened have its weight and place, but not have it become attached to me as a source of low self-esteem and even lower self-worth. I exercise patience with myself, as I know that I cannot always do everything I set out to do, whether it be because of the fallible nature of humans in general, due to forces outside my control, or even due to my ADHD that affects my productivity. No longer do I allow my perfectionism break down what I have achieved on my personal and emotional journeys or in my career. What I have managed to do and or achieve can never be taken away by anyone, not even myself. And this is something I still struggle with till present, but I continue to learn and grow. Now I have the skills in my mental toolkit to be able to look back at my battle and recognize the strength it took for me to not end my own life after what I was enduring for many a year at the hands of depression, anxiety, and self-destructive codependency, but more on this in a little bit. Currently, I am, for the first time in 4 years, going to therapy again in order for me to overcome the problems and learned behaviors that led to my declining mental health and eventual trauma as a late teenager and young adult. I was unsure if it would offer any help or guidance on my journey towards healing as a person, feeling whole and functional as an adult, after not having the support and guidance I needed as a child that very much led to me feeling neglected and unloved by my peers in the industry and family. even though there was empirical evidence to the contrary that I refused to take to heart. In my past, my experiences with therapy as a concept left a really foul taste in my mouth when it came to my opinion of its importance towards becoming a fulfilled and functional adult in the modern internet-dependent society we know our era to be. As a content creator who has been producing content for 9+ years, hindsight has made me realize it caused me to form an almost rough around the edges persona online with a side of thick skin, as creating content was the only thing I did as an escape from my daily struggles of purpose, worth, and identity. I had to distance myself from the content I made back then on a holistic level, as the world was reason enough to be upset, angry, and cynical. And whenever I was recording, I was away from all that which bothered me. I only focused on the moment and savored it while it lasted. I almost turned towards content creation as a coping mechanism for the shitty hand my life, and more so people in my life, had dealt me. It was a vehicle for a change in my personality, view of myself, ideologies, and later, my sense of worth. Content creation was, and to a certain degree still is, the only thing I ever felt I was truly good at. But throughout my time growing up and watching YouTube, I was obviously introduced to several other hobbies and interests I would have otherwise missed, whether it be due to it being distant from my town where I grew up and thus not readily available, or had too high a bar for entry, like Magic the Gathering for instance, of which I am a huge fan of and have a few decks myself. As such, I've developed some rather niche interests, as I am the full-time sufferer of ADHD, or for those who know, my buddy, good old Dave.
So what about dopamine, attention, variability, executive dysfunction?
So I won't go into too much detail because this video is about Lego, another of my hyperfixations that I can attribute to YouTube for various reasons, but we don't have the time. Seriously, we're on the 4th page of the script already and haven't even mentioned anything in-depth about mental health, which was kind of the point of the video. We're swamped for time! For the sake of keeping things not too deep or coming across as pity-seeking, I'll give a short summary. Beware trigger warnings of the topics of suicide, self-harm, and/or substance abuse. Please skip ahead to this timestamp on screen now. I was going through a very dark place in my high school life, battling the horrors of COVID-19 head-on during my matric year, as well as having recently, at the time, started to become more aware of who I wanted to be and the stress of needing to perform well in school, given how competitive the job market is. I was, to be frank, a fucking wreck. All this culminated into the deepest depression I've ever had the disprivilege of having to endure as a human being, period. I had become so distant with the concept of life as a whole to the point that all I could do was try not to kill myself, let alone live. I turned to cutting myself and other means of self-harm to make myself be able to even feel anything anymore. The only reason I found myself able to sit here in front of the mic, able to record anything, is because of my high school math teacher, who I thank dearly daily in my soul for having, quote, picked up on the signs and helped me when no one else would. After high school, I took a gap year to work for my mom and stepdad in order to help out around the house and gain experience for my resume, which I am grateful for. And it had its own challenges, shall we call them. They always say never work with your family, and I, to an extent, agree. It's oftentimes hard to separate family relationships from work ones, and safe to say, certain arguments would spill over. And now we fast forward to 2022, and I had done some self-reflection, come to the conclusion that I am and always have been bisexual. Safe to say I was eager to experiment. So I had met a guy through a mutual, through the local Twitch community, and once I was introduced, safe to say I was in love. Sadly though, due to conditions that I've been experiencing at home, I had developed codependency. I was so vastly in love that after only 6 months I was ready to move in with him and leave everything and everyone behind for him, which I did. Safe to say the relationship was not healthy a couple months into the home sharing. My mental health just kept declining, I grew ever distant, things weren't working anymore, and I don't mean just my brain. Things ended and I suffered the consequences of my actions and had to battle my codependent nature. After the breakup and fallout around it that ensued with the family was understandably intense, considering that upon the day of my departure from home en route to my then boyfriend was also the day I came out to them. Yeah, rough as one can imagine. The whole explanation and telling a fuller side of the story was where something changed though. They kind of just shrugged it off, paid it no attention. That was that. Done. The pain, the fear, everything. Lifted off my shoulders as if it was nothing. Done and gone, no reference made to it. Until they needed ammunition in an argument. The amount of times I had the F-word slur thrown at me whenever an argument erupted, for circumstances that were more often than not completely unrelated. This led to my further decline after entering the hospitality industry with everyone's favorite, bartending. Yay. 2 months directly after the breakup, in the dingiest dive bar in town, an open 24/7 cesspit of drunkards, horny guys, girls both gay and straight, old toppies who smock a wine for the RV, or even the town's most influential business people, all getting blackout drunk and probably doing some totally legal substances, with a line in between, if you can catch my drift. As one can imagine, this was the best place for a recently out and freshly broken up with bisexual person with anxiety and low self-worth to be. Not. That place caused a decay in my soul that involved the frequent and extensive use of alcohol and or our bestie, Mary Jane. Every day became a get someone, anyone to buy you a drink, Oxy, fetch quest in my head. I was after the 5 months I'd been working the job, which was about 7 or 8 months after the breakup, still sleeping on the couch in my own home because it didn't feel like one. I never saw my family much, my friends, no one, except the boss, my coworkers, and the same old faces in the sea that is substance abuse. I was clearly hurting, and I needed a way out. My heart sank one morning after shift, which was, say, about 14 hours long, 6 p.m. Friday night to 8 a.m. Saturday. I received a call from an old family friend who ran the watering hole. She made me an offer I couldn't refuse. Equal hourly rate, more options for time off, and the venue was a gentleman's establishment. That place was almost the final nail in my coffin, but that's for another video some other time. Just know and rest easy and assured that it was, in fact, dreadful. Which leads into my more modern self. Here I am after having left that infernal place behind since February and have since grown. Not only closer to myself, but to my friends, family, and to a whole new circle of peers and friends who have welcomed me into their fold with open and accepting arms. And I am honestly so grateful for everyone who has assisted me in my life, whether it be the occasional, "Are you okay, Oxy? You know who you are," or even the "Hi friend, let me know how things went today." And more importantly, the love and support that you have all provided me has allowed me to grow stronger, wiser, and most important, heal. I really would not be here if not thanks to my friends and this platform. And that's why I will forever have a drive and passion for doing this as long as I damn well live. This last section sadly brings us to the present day. Sitting here with a script in front of me, a proper understanding of the tools that I have as a person and a creator in both my public and personal life. Am I juggling a full-time job with therapy, family time, and games and chats with friends? Yes, but for the first time in my life, I can say that I am managing. Every day, I take the time to prune my bonsai that is my mental health, water the roots of positive thoughts and energy, and clip off the dead or decaying branches of anger, anxiety, and or the struggles of yesterday, and begin every day anew. Too long have I had the past influence my life to the point of fear of failure and anxiety, but not anymore. Thanks to my friends, therapists, family, co-workers, and of course, well, you. Yeah, you. Yes, you watching this video now. Thank you for doing so. I wouldn't have grown and wanted to develop these cool videos and silly projects without your support. So thank you. By the way, here's your glam shot. I hope you enjoyed the new style and avenue of content that I'm trying over here on the second channel. Don't worry, the gaming stuff isn't dying just yet. Streams will resume as soon as my ISP decides to give back my upload speed from the Saw puzzle that is bandwidth capping. And, well, at that, expect more of this soon, but not necessarily just LEGO content, or just storytime videos, or both, or neither. This channel is very much for me, and my only want out of this channel is just to have fun experimenting with and trying new styles and hobbies. So stick around for that if you'd like. Well, I've been doing this for so long I forgot how to outro, so bye?